I want to talk about how our mind is always splitting the world into different concepts and how it fails to see the unity of things. And in my opinion, what real meditation would be is to be able to see two sides of the same coin, or to be able to see a whole process in its entirety rather than just seeing the end result. Inspired from that, I have decided to make this video series of certain assumptions our mind holds, and I will help us break those assumptions in order for us to become more meditative as people. I'm not talking about specific techniques or asanas that you perform. I'm talking about the way you see the world and the way you live your life to understand what a meditative mind would be. So, I decided today to talk about the false distinction between the personal and professional life. The basis for the assumption that a certain part of your life is personal and a certain part of your life is professional is that the mind has split these activities into two, where the professional life consists in making a living, going to an office, performing certain tasks, if not going to an office, going to a factory, or visiting your client site, whatever be the task that requires you to get money, is not part of your personal life. Your personal life consists of your family members, your relatives, your friends, your loved ones, and the kind of relations that you would have with these people would be completely different from those you have with your colleagues at work, which is why you may never think of selling a product or service to someone who is close to you, right? Not to your friends, not to your family. You would be more comfortable selling your products and services to a stranger as opposed to selling them to your friends and family. This is the basis of the division in the mind, which we call the personal and professional life. Now, let's see how the script works on the other hand. In our personal life, because we can be very raw and unfiltered with the people who we claim to be very near and dear to us, there is certain behavior that we put up with or we make others put up with who are our loved ones or our near and dear ones, which would absolutely not be tolerated in the professional workspace. For example, in the professional workspace, if you're living in a healthy professional environment, you would not be allowed to scream at the top of your lungs to anyone, and you would not be able to reprimand them so harshly. You would not be able to use foul language with them, and because of that you maintain a certain decorum, a certain level of respect, which is not really translated to your private life because, again, the mind divided the world into professional and private life. Similarly, you would never think of bringing a glass of water to your colleague sitting at the desk because you would think, why can't he or she just go to the water cooler, get their own water, and bring it back? However, when your mom or dad comes back from work, you may think of offering them a glass of water, or if you come back from work, they may think of offering you a glass of water because this is considered the private domain. Now, I hope what I'm saying is helping you understand this false distinction, because whether it's in your private life or whether it's in your professional life, life itself is the basis of both your professional and your private lives. You're alive at work, you're alive with your loved ones and your near and dear ones. So, learn to understand the false distinction that this mind has made between two domains of life that it wants to be very sharp and distinct, and understand that when you're able to dissolve these boundaries, you get a certain level of freedom. What am I talking about? Your Sundays don't become so special. The last day of the month doesn't become so special, or the first day of the month, whenever you get paid. And so you don't need this desire for escaping what is considered work. Normally, most people are excited about Saturday and Sunday because they don't have to work on those days. So, their idea of fun would be to escape to some kind of pleasure, maybe the cinemas, maybe a bar, maybe time with friends. But would you really be looking forward to these things if you really enjoyed what you do? How appealing would the movie theater be, or how appealing would the nightclubs be, If the work that you're doing itself is so joyful, I think they would lose their appeal if the work that you were doing was inherently joyful. And when you learn to dissolve these boundaries, when you learn to love your colleagues, as in where their problems would become your problems and where your problems would become their problem, um, then there's a chance of seeing some improvement, because it feels good to be taken care of and it feels good to take care of the other. However, the corporate workspace has this mentality of each man for himself, which can bring out the competitive spirit to work harder, but in the long run, that deteriorates the team spirit and somehow deteriorates your individual spirit too. It takes a little bit of inquiry to reach this conclusion, so don't take me at face value. Understand how the competitive spirit works within you, for and against you, and then understand what to do with it.